What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over some tips and just explaining how to use the third-person ARs in Fortnite, because with Fortnite OG, we have mostly third-person ARs. There is the scoped AR still in the game, but players find themselves using these third-person ARs a lot more this season than they have in past seasons. If you guys do enjoy this video, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, and comment down below what you think of these third-person ARs. So, a lot of players hate on these weapons and say that they're just random and that it's skillless, because of the spread of the weapon. And that is true to an extent. The spread does introduce some randomness to like where your bullets will go, but the thing that you need to kind of keep in mind is controlling the randomness or reducing that randomness is the skill in using these third-person ARs. So this is just the base version of the crosshair here. I'm standing still, I'm not shooting, not aimed in. This is just the base crosshair. And the way you want to look at this crosshair or think about this crosshair is that the bullet can go anywhere within the reticle. And like, people look at the dot and think that's where your bullet is going to go. That is not true. If you were to make a circle like connecting the outer edge of each of those dashes, your bullet can go anywhere within that range. So, and this is how hip firing works for like all the weapons in the game and like every other shooter I've played. It's not where the dot is. The size of the crosshair is if you were to make a circle connecting the outer edge of each dash. I'm not sure why they don't just present the crosshair as a circle. I think that would make things make a lot more sense for players. So just a quick correction I noticed when editing this that could kind of make it confusing to an extent. Your bullet will go on the dot and be perfectly accurate when the dashes reset to the dot. Like when the dashes are all touching the dot, that is what's called first shot accuracy. And your weapon will be perfectly accurate and go where the dot is at that point. But when you're just shooting normally and spraying, that is the bullet. Like when the crosshairs, the dashes are getting larger, that's when the bullet doesn't go where the dot is. Kind of self-explanatory because of, you know, first shot accuracy is what it's called. But again, I just wanted to make that correction because I know it could throw some people off the way I explained it. The things that will increase your spread is going to be things like moving, jumping. You see how inaccurate it gets when I'm jumping. And then also shooting. This is what players call bloom. This, like how the crosshair gets larger as I'm shooting, that is what is referred to as bloom in this game and like most other games. And so the more I shoot my weapon without allowing the bloom to reset, the more inaccurate it gets to the point where it reaches max bloom. So, or max spread. This is the max spread of the scar if you're standing still. This is it when you're moving. And as you can see, it's decently inaccurate. Like I said, if you were to make a circle connecting the outer edge of those dashes, a person-sized target isn't going to fit into that and fill a lot of your crosshair. And that's basically what you want to do. You want to manage the size of your crosshair so that the opponent fills most of it. And the way you're going to do this is by, you know, full autoing at some ranges. If they're close to medium range, their target, their character is going to appear large to you because, you know, the further away things are, the smaller they appear. If you're close to them, they're going to appear large. And so you could just full auto. Like here we have the large targets on, and I could just full auto. I'm not hitting every shot, but I'm hitting a decent amount, right? Like, it's not terrible. And again, these targets are smaller than a person actually would be in game. We could just full spray, and the size of the crosshair is small enough to the point where I could still hit shots on these targets. And a person would be like a few of these targets all clumped together. So it's like, obviously it's going to be easier to hit a person than these targets. And if you want to be as accurate as possible, you're going to want to crouch, you're going to want to stand still, and you're going to want to tap fire. And one of the things you want to get down with these third-person ARs is the timing that you tap. You see I'm tapping as soon as first shot accuracy comes back. That is timing you want to get down. Not always you want to tap fire. Again, it'll depend on the range, and that's where like the skill in using these weapons comes in, I think, is like not only tracking the target, because you have to be able to track decently well to consistently land shots, but also managing the size of your crosshair depending on the situation. If someone's in your face, you could spray. If someone's really far away, you're probably going to want to tap fire. Like this. And getting that timing down for tap firing is very important. And then one thing I want to talk about, because I've gotten asked this a bunch recently, is talk about the suppressed scar. So the regular AR and this scar here are basically the same weapon. I believe bloom gets lower per rarity. So like this, the gold scar is going to be more accurate than this blue AR. But they're still basically the same weapon. The scar is just a better version. I think even like with the twin mag AR, like the gold version had less recoil. Whereas like with these third person ARs, the higher rarity has less bloom, a little bit less randomness. The suppressed scar is an interesting weapon because it has completely different bloom pattern. And it's like it has a higher max spread. So like we'll just shoot it out here and you see the max spread of this is larger than even the max spread of the blue AR. But with the suppressed scar is it takes a while to reach its max spread. Like the first few shots, it stays perfectly accurate. So if you burst the suppressed scar or like tap fire you get like a decently fast, you could still like tap fire this faster than like the first shot accuracy reset, and it will be pretty accurate. Like the spread increase per shot on the suppressed scar, I feel like is lower than on the scar or the regular AR, but its max spread is larger. So it's just like an interesting weapon to think about. It kind of works best for like bursting or constantly tap firing like this. But if you want to full auto the weapon, then the regular AR or the scar is going to be the better option for you. And to really like make this point home, oh shoot, that's not what I wanted to do. I think we were at AR tracking. Or no. I was at AR tags. I don't use this map very much. The code will be linked down in the description below. I just thought this was like a decent way to like demonstrate this. So like I was saying before, when I was on the large targets, I could full spray and we would still hit a decent amount of shots. And that would be like a situation where your opponent was in like kind of medium-ish long range. But now these targets are really small. And if I full spray, I'm not going to hit any shots because my bullets can go anywhere within my crosshair. And this little circle takes up very little of my crosshair. So if I want any chance of hitting these targets, I have to tap with first shot accuracy. And you can wait for first shot accuracy to fully reset, or you could just tap it as the dashes are resetting the center. And once you get that timing down, you will be able to consistently, you know, land shots. Bro, I cannot hit this one. And this is what a lot of players struggle with. So that is the point, or like the skill of using bloom ARs. I think it's just limiting that randomness. It is random, but if you're full spraying every fight and then being like, wow, the guns in the game are so random, that's kind of on you, you know? You can full spray a lot. It's not like you need to tap fire in every single fight. Like I said, it's a range thing and the size of your opponent. If the opponent is larger, you can still occupy, like let's say if your crosshair is occupied by 80% of the opponent, then you have 80% chance to hit the target. If you shoot 5 shots, you're probably going to hit 4. Not everything in this game is just a simple like math problem in a vacuum like that. You could still get unlucky sometimes and weird stuff happens, but the point still stands. You just need to make it so however the opponent appears to you, as far as like how large they are, you want to fit as much of them in your crosshair as possible. And one thing a lot of players struggle with is they put the dot from their crosshair, they put that on the opponent's head and then just full auto, and then they're like, wow, my aim was on their head, why isn't it hitting? And what that does is it creates a situation where, like, you see here when I'm spraying, there's a whole like top half of my crosshair that is above the dot, right? And like we touched on, the bullet can go anywhere within the crosshair. So if I have the dot on the opponent's head and I'm full spraying, then that entire top half of their crosshair isn't going to be on the opponent at all. And so like you're really decreasing your chance to hit them. You probably want to put the dot like upper torso, maybe like neck area, and then full spray. If you're going to be tapping, then sure, maybe put the dot on their head if you're comfortable doing that. But like, I think just always going for headshots when full spraying with the dot on the opponent's head actually makes your accuracy worse, because just naturally the way the crosshair works, half of it has to be off the opponent for that to be a thing. So just a quick recap: tap fire at really long range, full spray in like close to medium range as a general rule. Again, this, you know, things are weird sometimes. You can full spray at long range and still hit shots, but if you want to be as accurate as possible, crouch, stand still, and tap fire, and that'll increase your chances of being accurate with these weapons. It also is just, I feel like, especially if you're a controller player, I don't know if I'm the only one who feels this way, but especially if you're a linear controller player, I feel like it's very hard to use these weapons at long range. And I play linear. I don't really feel like switching to Expo just for this season. That just kind of seems like pointless to me. One thing I did do, though, is I lowered my ADS settings a little bit. I went from 12 to 10 ADS today, and I felt way more comfortable using these third-person ARs after doing that. So maybe if you do play on a higher ADS like me, you probably don't, though. I'm a weirdo for playing on a higher ADS. But that point still stands. Maybe, you know, bump your ADS down like a little peg or two, and that might make it a little more controllable for you to use these weapons at really long range. If you guys want to use this map to practice, it'll be linked down in the description below. These targets aren't the best as far as, you know, trying to learn the ranges at which you can tap fire versus full auto, because let's be real, they're like, when are you gonna see somebody and see such a small portion of them that they're this size? Like, they would have to be across the map and playing off a head glitch, you know? And you probably don't even want to fight that in the first place. But If you want to practice your aim here, it'll be, the code for this will be in the description down below if you're interested. I hope you guys found this video helpful, informative, interesting. It's hard for me to talk about some of this stuff because like I've played the game for so long that some of this is just like really natural to me, but I know like especially players who kind of came in for zero build, these third person ARs haven't been as relevant in recent years, and also the ones that were, like the hammer arrow, was just very different. You could full spray that thing all the time and it didn't matter because its max boom was very small. But again, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, remember to give it a like, subscribe to like some more, comment down below if you did. I know a lot of players have been struggling with this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.